Hello, this is Mr. Hutchings. Welcome to your paper one video walkthroughs. This is the first of a set of 6 videos, hopefully 6, where we're talking through the 6 different questions that you get on paper one. Paper one is medicine through time. That is section B of this paper. Section A, though, is the British sector of the Western Front, 1914 to 18. And then it very helpfully says it up here: injuries, treatment, and the trenches. So these are the 3 areas that the questions are going to focus on. Starts off nice and simply with a describe 2 features question. Now this is a 4 marker, as we can see down here. See, 4 marks. This should be 4 marks absolutely in the bank when you're faced with this. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes they can be tricky, but for the most part, they give you a really good chance of being able to access the paper and make a nice, good, confident start to it. There is a trick to answering this, and there is indeed a shortcut to answering this. Now, I always teach my students when they're faced with this one that they have to show some ID. Now, what I mean by that is you first of all must identify. Now, synonym for that is simply name. So you must name and then describe it. I can't write today. Okay, so that's basically add a fact. Okay, so those are the 2 things you must do on this question. You've got to show some ID, identify a feature. Feature is basically just like a quality, a characteristic, something that identifies it. If you were going to pick it out of a lineup, what would you be using to pick it out? And then describe the thing that you've identified. Now, because it's only asking us to describe, we don't need to necessarily write in full sentences. Now, here's a nice shortcut that I'm going to teach you. So, first of all, I need to know what I'm being asked to give 2 features on. It's always going to come at the end of your question here. Describe 2 features of ill health among soldiers that arose from the trench. So basically, what kind of medical problems did the trench system cause? Now, instantly, going through my head, I'm thinking things like this. I'm thinking trench foot. I'm thinking pyrexia. I'm thinking shell shock. Okay? Loads and loads and loads of things that you could get here. Basically, any issue that is linked to living in a trench, you can put down here. I've got 3 just to start with. I'm going to pick 2 of them. I think I'm going to go for trench foot and I'm going to go for shell shock. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is to just identify them. So to save myself from repeating myself, I'm going to first of all go trench foot, full stop. Remember, that's just me identifying. So that's my I, got to identify it. And then down here, second one, shell shock. Okay, again, that's just me identifying it, so it doesn't need to be in a full sentence. I have 2 marks in the bank already for identifying 2 features of ill health. Okay, now I need to describe these 2 things a little bit. Now, you could go 2 ways of this. You can either give like a statistic. For example, I could give a statistic as to how many soldiers were affected by this. That would be description. I could talk about how it was caused. I could talk about the kinds of treatments they use for it. Any kind of description that adds to my trench foot. I can't speak. Anything that adds description to trench foot that I can put in. Okay. Same for down here. Shell shock. Could be how many men were affected by it. Could be what it was actually known as. Could be why people got shell shock. It doesn't really matter. We just need 1 sentence that adds a little bit of description. So I'm going to do that here. Trench foot. This was caused by living in heavily waterlogged conditions for a long period of time. Boom. Easy. That is my description. Identify the thing linked to the focus, add a sentence of description. Easy peasy. 2 out of 2. Okay, I'll do the same for shell shock. Shell shock. This was often known as NYD.N. So, often known as NYD.N. Don't need to go any further than that. Shell shock. This may often, that should be was. This was often known as NYD.N and was caused by constant shelling of trenches. Easy peasy. Okay, so again, just to recap, you have to show some ID. On this question, you identify, then you describe the feature. Identify it, doesn't need to be a full sentence. Then give one full sentence here that describes something about the feature. So I've gone with trench foot. This was caused by living in heavily waterlogged conditions for a long period of time. That's 2 out of 2. So that's 2 marks. 1 for identify, 1 for describe. I know my second one needs to be quite different to the first one. It can't be too closely linked. Shell shock. This was often known as NYD.N. I could probably stop it there, to be honest, and still get the mark. But I've gone further. And this was caused by constant shelling of the trenches. Okay, that is literally all you need to do for the describe two features question. You'll get this on your Elizabeth paper as well, but it's exactly the same kind of premise. Identify something linked to your focus, and then add one sentence that adds some detail to it. Nice and easy. If you've got any problems with this, as always, put some comments in the comment section, and I will gladly get back to you. Take care.